Good morning, y'all. Now, Fox just came up here. Good morning, y'all. That's a whole lot better. I'm gonna keep testing y'all because there ain't no way that Fox just came up here and got y'all lit like that. And we got this lukewarm good morning. All right, let's do it one more time just so I can get y'all off on a good foot. Good morning, y'all. Good morning, beautiful people. One of the best things that I get to do all year is come and be with my Beyond the Bars family. Welcome to the 15th annual Beyond the Bars. Y'all, I thought I was cute coming up here. I put on my lipstick this morning, and then Fox came up here, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna do better. So I'm gonna, part of what I have to do today is to welcome you all, give you a good land acknowledgement, tell you about the day. So I'll start in with that. First of all, my name is Shonda Chapman. You know, though, I forget to introduce myself, right? Because this is so literally. But part of what's warming my heart right now is that, like, usually when I walk in the door, I know everybody, I know all the people, and there's so many new faces here this morning, that I'm sure we're moving in the right direction. Give it up for West Coast, y'all. Westside is holding it down. Like, come on. All right. Is Cheryl here yet? Where's Cheryl? All right. Well, it's my pleasure to welcome you all to the 15th Annual Beyond the Bars Conference. It's truly wonderful to see so many new faces here. As we gather from places across the country, we offer our gratitude and our joy to be able to convene here on the traditional and contemporary homelands of Indigenous peoples. We acknowledge that the land politically designated as New York City to be the unceded homeland of the Lenape people who were violently displaced as a result of European settler colonialism over the course of 400 years. The Lenape people are a diasporic people that remain closely connected with this land, and they are its rightful stewards. We also recognize that New York City has one of the largest urban Native American populations in the United States, and we commit to working together to honor our past and to build our future with truth. And we must also acknowledge that much of what we know of this country today, and indeed this very institution, including its culture, its economic growth, and its development throughout history and across time, has been made possible by the labor of enslaved Africans and their descendants. And we're indebted to their labor and their sacrifice, and we must acknowledge the tremors of violence throughout the generations and the resulting impact that can still be felt and witnessed today, especially today, child. I also want to acknowledge this, that many of us are really sitting here with very, very tender hearts. I know that there has been lots of loss, lots of grieving. We are in the middle of a retrenchment that I never thought I'd ever see coming in my life. And it's places like this that allow us to sustain ourselves. It allows us to recharge ourselves. It allows us to strategize and to regroup and get on the ass. Yeah, that part. Get on the ass, right? So let me tell you a little bit about the Center for Justice. So the center was founded in 2014 by three amazing women, people that I consider friends, that I call my aunties, folks who really literally kind of took me and saw me and encouraged me and was like, get on out there, you got some work to do. Our dear comrade, Kathy Boudin, Cheryl Wilkins, and Geraldine Downey. So the Center for Justice is committed to ending mass incarceration and criminalization and advancing alternative approaches to justice and safety through education, research, and policy change. And its mission is to help transform approaches to justice from being driven by punishment and retribution to being centered on prevention, healing, and repair. So a quick overview of the day, but first a few announcements. So y'all know it's strange out here today. Be sure to wear your lanyards, your ID cards, as you enter and sort of move through the building, because that is the way that security here at the center at the School of Social Work know that you are supposed to be here. So as much as possible, please try to have that on. There'll be some breaks. So there'll probably be a 10-minute break after this. So, stay around, stay close, and stay seated so that we can move throughout the program. So a quick schedule of today. We're starting with the morning plenary at 10 a.m., Healing and Rest in These Political Times and Beyond. A wonderful group of panelists who you'll hear more about. At 11:45 to 1:15, there is the Rights, Resistance, and Resilience panel. Then there will be lunch on sea level, followed by a workshop block, art. Let's see. I'm not gonna read all these workshop blocks, y'all. There's a lot of workshops. Really, really great workshops. Y'all can do it. Oh, and you know what? You can scan your lovely QR codes on your. That's right. See, if I had my lanyard on, I would have remembered to tell y'all that. So you can see the workshop blocks there. Um, they never ever disappoint. I also want to admit, so Wakumi's going to come and tell you about the healing room, but I just have to lift up my dear sister from the Givers Revival. Wakumi is also a sort of a founder of the work that happens here, and we are really, really lucky to have her here. And so, if you could do yourself a favor, right? If we're talking about sustaining, be sure to take the breaks as you need them, right? A lot of this work is heavy. A lot of communing with people can be weighty on your spirit. Go and take a moment and get yourself together in the healing room. And there is an afternoon block. Don't bear with me. I'm an old girl now and need my reading glasses. See, ooh, I like season better. But you know what though, child? There ain't nothing with old. Many of us will be lucky to get old, right? So I'm claiming that. Old and fine. So there's also an afternoon workshop block from 3:45 to 5, and followed by Fox Rich. What is it followed by?
Time to unfinished business. Reading of the Young Boys 2025.
Right. So I'm not going to take too much more of your time. I'm going to let us get into it. But I have so much gratitude, and my heart is so warm to be here with you guys. Prepare for a really, really wonderful day. And let me give it over to my dear sister Wakumi.
Okay, peace and blessings again, family. Good to be here. Really, really good to be here. Really, really privileged and honored to get to be starting this off with a conversation about healing. Yeah?
Beautiful.
Heart-opening conversation about wellness. A conversation about the sacredness, like our dear sister Mary Hooks was saying last night. The sacredness and the spirit, the heart, the essence of what we do. Yeah? Okay. I have some slides. Am I supposed to do the slides from here? I can. I'm happy to. Okay, boom. I got it. I can do it. Boom. Okay. Y'all see my slides? They're so pretty. Is it, now how do I full screen this? Aha. Boom. We're full screen. Okay. So before we get started, we just want to take one moment. I know we're running a little bit behind, and we've had our land acknowledgement. We give thanks for that. Thank you, Shonda. We also just want to briefly honor our ancestors. We have to do it. We just have to do it, especially here at the Beyond the Bars conference themed after SANKOFA. We have to honor our ancestors, right? So just going to ask folks who are familiar with this practice to participate in it with me. If you're not familiar, it's okay, follow along. Always by consent. So if you feel like participating in libations right now feels good to your spirit, please do. If you feel like, not quite for me today, that's okay. Just be a loving witness of the process, all in choice, okay? So we're just gonna take a quick pause. We're gonna feel our feet on the ground, the earth below us that always supports us. We're gonna feel our bottoms in the seat. We're just gonna arrive in this moment, maybe in our bodies if that feels safe, just in the full presence of this moment, in the here and now. We're just gonna be right here, right now. And we're gonna bring to mind the ancestors of love and light that we would like to honor, that we would like to accompany us on this journey for this conversation. Who do we want to bring forward? Ancestors, people who have transitioned. We don't want to call people who are here with us now. People who have transitioned, maybe bloodline ancestors. This includes you all too in the overflow room and in the live stream. We're with you. So you too, join us. Bloodline or historical figures, folks of influence who we want to call forward. I'm going to invite you just to call their names with your breath out loud now. Aché. 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 Grandma Blue. Aché. 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 Beautiful. Aché. Aché. Beautiful. Beautiful. All together, 3 Achés. Aché. 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 Oh, beautiful. Thank you all for participating in that. Thank you. Thank you. Hey, Corey. All right. All right. So, one thing conference attendees wanted us all to keep, conference organizers wanted us all to keep in mind is the word SANKOFA has 3 parts. SANKOFA. SANKOFA. All right. We represent in this panel the San, the past, and how it informs our future. And we're going to be talking about many different moments in time on this panel. And this panel is deeply rooted in a historical context, at being really important in terms of understanding the lineage of this healing work and movement. So we're excited to get to represent that. And we appreciate the conference organizers for that framing. During this conversation, we're going to ask you all to adhere to a few community agreements. Okay? Because this is going to be a panel discussion and a community conversation. So there will be a highly interactive moment, or actually more than a moment. Half of this time together will be highly interactive. You'll be engaging with one another and partners. You'll be engaging with yourself. We'll be talking to each other, okay? And so because of that, we're asking you to adhere to these community agreements, stay present. Even in the overflow room and online on live stream, we'd like you to stay present, stay in the moment with us. Respect confidentiality. What we say here stays here. What we learn here leaves here. We want people to be able to share vulnerably and from the heart about where the suffering is, but also where the power is, all right? Why am I talking, all right? So just let's be intentional and mindful about what we're saying and why we're saying it, okay? Let's be intentional with our words. Let's practice purity of motive. Let's assume everyone here in this room is about people's liberation. We're just gonna try that out, all right? Until we see otherwise. Let's try. I know we're walking in with a lot of stuff. We all walk in with our stuff from movement. I get it, okay? I have mine too. We're gonna try to practice purity of motive and compassion today, okay? And let's get curious. Before we make an assumption or a judgment about something someone said, let's ask a question. Let's get curious with one another, all right, before we assume. Can we all agree to that? Can I just get like a light thumbs up and just a little consent? Okay, you know, this is mostly, it's mostly, oh good, I'll take it. And folks in the overflow room and in the live stream, we feel your consent energy. Okay. Okay. All right, so here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna introduce the panelists. I'm so excited. Okay, we have some remarkable panelists from lineages of work that are extremely powerful. I'm gonna start, forgive me. I did not even ask for permission to speak or nothing. Ooh, oh, I'm so bad at that practice. I need to get better. Mama SB, do I have permission to speak? Thank you. All right. So we have Esperanza Martell. And there's a lot of things to say. Okay, all right. We already know who she is. And for those of you who know who she is, you know this is extremely special for her to be with us. She is a real revolutionary. She is a real revolutionary. She is a true practitioner, an organizer, a popular educator, a lover of youth, a lover of the people. She is a pioneer in developing healing tools and protocol for frontline activists and freedom fighters, a pioneer. SB has been at this for a long, long, long time. All right, starting with the Young Lords. You can correct me if I'm wrong, Mama SB. Just, interrupt me now, okay?
Starting with my birth.
Starting with her birth. All right. Can I call it the plantation, Mama SB?
Yeah.
Mama SB taught for years at the plantation at Hunter School of Social Work and educated countless social workers. But I think more important to Mama SB are the working people who she mobilized and organized through popular education, healing modalities, and otherwise. And so can we please welcome Mama SB, please? Okay, we also have with us, can I put that? You all, the book. We also, y'all know the book. We have with us Cara Page, a Black queer feminist writer, cultural memory worker and organizer, co-editor of Healing Justice Lineages. Dreaming, yes, clap it up. It's a powerhouse panel. Crossroads of Liberation, Collective Care and Safety, we gotta say the whole name. Co-architect of the Healing Justice Political Framework, a core member and co-founder, of the Kindred Collective. She is currently the founding cultural organizing director of Changing Frequencies and co-founder of the Healing Histories Project to dream, build, and fight for collective care and safety as integral to our political liberation. Beautiful. Yes. Wow. And we have Mama SB. Your pronouns, Mama SB?
You could call me whatever the fuck you want.
Anything said? Can we go? Anything said with love and respect? Okay, we're not doing the pronouns.
It's more academic than academic.
All right. Okay.
Call me whatever.
Okay.
I call myself. He calls me Mama SB. I call myself Esperanza Martell Gaitán.
Beautiful.
And then you do with that whatever you want.
We have our beloved Cara Page, she, her, Wakumi, she, her, and we have our beloved Vinny. Vinny, they, them, he, him. Keep that in mind, y'all, when you ask your questions and when you're discussing this after. He is a musician, a member of H.O.L.L.A, How Our Lives Link Together. A New York City-based abolitionist youth organization. Folks should be familiar with H.O.L.L.A, they're the bomb. Vinny is an artist at heart, has experience in acting, drawing, writing, video games, and poetry. They are deeply connected with their emotions and spirituality and hold learning, introspection, and empathy in a grateful cradle. Vinny is apprenticing, in a community-based organization that works to build relationships between Black, brown, queer, and Indigenous people, as well as to educate and learn from said people to identify systemic oppression locally and globally. Can we just welcome our panelists one more time? I don't want to stand up here. All right. So we're going to start with Cara. And before I ask your question, I want to give a little context. I think we're in a time of thinking a lot about healing and healing work and what it means. And I wanted to tell a little story from my perspective, from my journey. About 4 years ago, I took a hiatus from a plantation of my own and was on a sabbatical and had an opportunity to work on the defense campaign of a loved one. Anybody ever work on somebody's defense campaign to free them? Yep, we know that work, right? Okay. And normally, when I have done defense work, I take it to the streets right away. Bullhorns, okay, gathering everybody. You know, we're outside the courthouse. But this time, my spirit called me into something different. My spirit said, get on your knees. Get on the mat. Get in prayer. And we're gonna lead you in terms of this person's defense campaign from there. And I took steps around their defense campaign as guided by what came to me through meditation, through prayer, through connection with spirit. And this person was facing 15 years. We got them out after 11 months, free and clear, D-O-N-E, done. And so when I'm thinking about healing justice and weaving spirituality into there, if we could, just in the tapestry a little bit, if we can, a question that came to me after having that experience is, are we leaving power on the table?
Come on.
By not actively engaging with spirit? And in our healing work, are there strategies that we are not accessing because we're leading from trauma, stress, fear, and anxiety? And so, Cara, I wanted to invite you in through your prolific book, the gathering up of all of the wisdom that you gathered, and ask you, what have you found? What are the possibilities? Let's go with possibilities that open up for us when we center caring for ourselves and caring for each other. Can you speak to sort of healing justice inside of this? And then the quick part 2, which is about what have you found is the role of spirituality in this healing work?
Right. Blessings, peace. It's really good to be here with all of you. I want to just name, there's a book, but the book is actually an intervention. I'm going to start with praxis. So I am the great-granddaughter of Black migrant sharecroppers, the great-granddaughter of Black Seminole people from Florida, and also of European ancestry, complicated histories that I was born into. I come to you by way of political organizing work in the Northeast and the Southeast. And I want to just say 25 now, years ago, I was on the front lines of doing political organizing work with LGBTQ liberation, racial justice work, and reproductive justice work in the South. And what we were looking at was a heightened moment of fascism, a heightened moment of repression and anti-immigration reform and anti-Black racist violence. At the same time, an increased privatization of prisons and massive building of prisons and detention centers in the 2000s, and on and on and on. And what I noted is there was deep pain, spiritual pain, deep burnout, stress, but interestingly enough, organizations were choosing to outcast their people who were having what I call emotional breakthroughs or spiritual breakthroughs. And I thought, well, that's odd. Here we are trying to talk about transformation and liberation, but we're outcasting people who are struggling and also leaving people inside our organizing work who are witnessing people being left behind. So I started to ask the question, what are the lineages of healing and care inside of social justice movements? And really started to ask elders, movement elders in the South in particular, how do we think about generational trauma from oppression, systemic oppression, from mass incarceration, from slavery, from genocide, from war? How are we talking about generational trauma? And by way, certainly, of lineages of young lords, Black Panthers, so many political liberatory movements that had these same questions, how could I draw that forth in a moment of heightened attack on Black and brown, queer and trans, disabled, youth, immigrant, and refugee communities in the South? And that is how healing justice even evolved as a political framework. What that is, or what it became, is healers, energy, earth, body-based healers, asking the question, how are we interrupting generational trauma of our lands, our bodies, our spirits, and our economies. So looking through an anti-capitalist lens, how could we reimagine ways we hold care as central to political organizing? Because I don't know about many of you on the panel, but I don't know, Mama SP, from your lineage, but I was being asked to do ad hoc healing practices at the beginning of a strategy meeting, at the end of a political conference. And tell me if I'm going too fast, my apologies. I needed to ask the question, are we only here as healers to just do the surface work? Just come in at the beginning and then come in at the end and hold. And I just thought, where are we as the strategists? Where are we as the liberationists, as the anti-capitalist organizers that we are? Also asking the question of social workers, nurses, and doctors, how do we also build care that is rooted in liberation, rooted in anti-capitalism, rooted in racial disability justice, queer and trans liberation, something that honored all of our bodies, collective spirits. So we started to move. Information as the Kindred Southern Healing Justice Collective, which was a Southern regional collective of practitioners. Now, for folks who are in this room, how often are we invited to do cross-disciplinary work together around healing and care? Usually doctors are on one side, nurses on another, social workers on another, healers on another. Sometimes we are even told we don't exist with each other. And I would believe we don't exist without each other. But we have to come through a political analysis. I'm not talking about just any kind of doctor, any kind of nurse, any kind of healer. How are we rooted in a liberation frame? So we started to study together. How do we understand the roots of the system of care in this country as an extension of state control, imprisonment, and slavery? And so we studied the medical industrial complex, the mass experimentation and testing on so many of our communities, especially incarcerated and detained people, not just here in the United States, obviously globally, using sites of harm and abuse in medical, scientific, racist institutions. So then collective care inside of healing justice became an interruption of this kinds of testings and experimentations on our bodies and our people, alongside building new collective care strategies. So here I am 25 years later, asking the question, I think the second part you asked, where is spirituality? It's inseparable.
That's right.
We all brought different practices rooted in our ancestral lineages, right? We asked the question about co-optation and how we don't borrow from each other without asking for clear consent.
That's right.
To share each other's traditions, but also asking permission of our ancestors and our elders, what we can or cannot do in certain spaces.
That's right.
At this point, I am fighting against fascism and fighting for the role of abolitionists, healers, and health practitioners to work together to respond to this retrenchment that's happening, but not to get lost in the historical memory that these institutions have never been by us, for us, or about us.
That's right.
So we have to continue building new ways of liberation and care as inseparable and spiritually grounded.
That's right.
All right.
Woo! Thank you so much, Cara. And I wanted to note for you all, I hope you're taking notes and writing your questions down. There will be an opportunity for questions and feedback from you all, so please do be doing that. All right, Vinny. One of the things the conference organizers this year were very serious about was wanting to make sure we were elevating youth voices. SANKOFA, looking back to go forward. Who's going forward? Young people, right? And so we have Vinny with us. And Vinny, we'd love to hear from your perspective. What is the future world that young people right now are seeking? And how is healing and spirituality a part of creating that world, creating the world that our descendants so deserve?
I'm gonna begin, I am Vinny. I'm gonna begin with the first question.
Yes.
A lot of
You good?
We want a joyous world. We want where we work 7 days a week. We work 5 days a week. Those are slave hours. That is indentured servant, and we're doing that now. Where is the time to live life? We don't get that. We want a non-hierarchical world where we put someone over someone else, where we deem other people or people, places, animals less than. That's a outdated philosophy, and that needs to be erased. We want a courageous world where when we do move in fear, we still move. We're not we don't stay in the fear. We don't stay still. We move on straight ahead. We want an equitable future where not only is it equal, but people's needs are met. We are different. That is fact. And that's beautiful. But we need these differences need different needs. We need to meet those. We can't just be like, everyone gets, a plate of pasta. Some people don't eat gluten. So we need to move with that. We want an empathetical world where I care about you and you care about me, where it's reciprocal. It's not one-sided. It's not, I don't care about you. I do care. We want an emancipated future where we're free to be ourselves, free to do what we want, free to imagine, free to have space, free to have time. That's the future we want.
Beautiful.
The systems we are living right now are built on exploitation and murder. From the prisons in America to the streets of Gaza.
Say it.
Our system wants us to work for little compensation.
Let's go.
The prison industrial complex, slavery is still alive and well, not only in our streets and in our businesses, but in prisons. And these prisons are made up of black and brown faces, of men, of women, of non-binaries, of transgender. How is it that although blacks and Latinos together represent 28% of the general population, 85% of the total state prison population comes from New York City, specifically 7 neighborhoods? This is the question that Eddie Ellis from the Greenhaven think tank brought up and answered. These come from crime-generative attitudes. We're not a community. I have to look out for myself. I'm not part of the community. I need to survive. I need to eat. And these ideas come from these systems in place. Crime-generative, blah, 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 blah.
You got it. Yeah, we hear you.
This is on purpose. This is not accidental. This is built into the DNA. And even before capitalism, feudalism, Europe. We are exploited. There's no self-love, no empathy. We work till our fingers bleed. We're not rooted. We're adrift. We're starving. We need to eat. So spirituality, and now I'm gonna answer the second question.
Yes.
Spirituality can ground you. Food, art are ways that distract us and drive us and disorient us. It keep us addicted. Spirituality based in ancestral wisdom can heal and give us tools to overcome personal outside challenges. I deserve to be happy. I don't deserve to be exploited. I deserve to be boundless love. One more thing. It is important to heal our trauma, our generational trauma, and support those we love in their trauma. We need to heal as a community or die alone. Our strongest asset is working together. How can you work together if you hurt those around you because of past experiences that you're stuck on? The future young people are creating for themselves is one of safety, empathy, and one that respects boundaries. Thank you.
They said, I deserve to be boundless love. I deserve to be boundless love. I'm never going to forget that. Thank you so much, Vinny. Thank you for your heart. I deserve to be boundless love. Wow. Beautiful. Woo. Wow. Y'all feel that? Yes. Is it just me? Okay. Woo. Mama Espy. I think I'm gonna skip the film clip. I don't think we need it. I don't think we do. I was gonna show a film clip, one of the ways, 2 moments that really brought forward for me really strongly in my recent past about how our elders have been holding this lineage of healing. It's not new. And I feel like we have this terminology and such now, and so we feel like this is like a new trend or something, but it's not new. Our elders, like Mama SB, Baba Mutulu Shakur, so many others have been holding this lineage of healing for some time. Strongly recommend folks go check out the film series Dear Mama, lifting up Tupac Shakur and Mama Fanny Shakur. In that film, they talk about the pain that they suffered on the front lines of the work that they did in the Black Panther movement. And we have someone with us here at the table who can speak to that directly, okay? A rare opportunity, and we're truly blessed. So Mama SB, can you just share with us, in your many, many decades of experience creating healing modalities for frontline freedom fighters, because that's what you've pioneered for us, how would you respond to what the conversation that's happening at the table right now? And just tell us a little bit about how doing this work started for you. How did doing this work start for you?
The work started for me when I was born. I'm serious. I am a product of U.S. colonialism of my country, which has been occupied for over 130 years, close to 130 years, there's been occupation. I like your comments on lineage. We're blessed and not, as Puerto Ricans, to have indigenous, African, and European, that's the not, lineage. We experienced genocide from the moment that the Europeans landed in Puerto Rico. We were the other. The only difference between the Spanish and the English enslavers and genociders was that the Spanish said that we had souls. And the English said that we were cattle, soulless. All humanity has souls. And for me, being brought to this country in 1950, screaming the same way I screamed when I was born because I couldn't breathe. I was a blue baby. I screamed when they brought me here in a February from my homeland. I didn't understand the smells, the language. Nothing made sense. My mother wasn't the same as a child. Trauma began very early for me, like for most of us. And then I experienced all the ills of capitalism as an adolescent. I was not put behind the wall. I've never experienced that type of incarceration. But us on the outside are in prison. Prison is more than a wall, okay? Because they're killing our souls. And I resisted. I got the marks in my body from when my mother beat my ass. So I'd be the good girl and stop asking questions. She says, you always want to know why. And I grew up, I grew up on the west side of Manhattan, down in the 80s when it was a Black and Puerto Rican working class, poor working class community. My mom was a maid. So I know about open air enslavitude and genocide. By the age of 20, I was an alcoholic. And all my friends were dying from heroin. I hardly have teenage friends from way back. Okay? I graduated from another plantation called the Board of Education or Department of Education, whatever they want to call it. Another plantation where we Puerto Ricans were guinea pigs because we were those niggers that spoke that funny language, okay? So understand that we're born into oppression, okay? Whether we are black as the night sky or as light as milk, okay? Capitalism oppresses us. Patriarchal religion oppresses us. Male supremacy is real in the hands of the capitalists. And white aggression, I don't want to use, what do people use, white? Yes, I don't want to use supremacy anymore because they're not supreme.
Hello.
White aggression. White aggression. You know, everybody say, oh my God, what's his face? The orange guy. The Cheeto. I love when people say the Cheeto, the Cheeto. Anyway, so how horrible is this man? And it's a fascist. Andrew Jackson was a fascist. Yes. Okay? A fascist. The killing of Lincoln was because he was a conservative liberal. Okay? So that we've experienced fascism in the United States throughout history. It's nothing new or novel. Nixon, a fascist. Reagan, a fascist. The president of Hunter College is a Zionist, okay? I'm sure here too, fascism, apartheid in today's world. So that when you talk about healing in community, that's the question.
That's the question.
I have to frame it. I'm sorry.
Please frame it.
Anyway, in community, the only reason that we're here today is because of our lineage. Because of our lineage.
That's right.
That's the only reason that any of us are here today. Even those of you who support Zionism and looking for a way. So today is International Working Women's Day. Working Women's Day, not the day of bourgeois feminists. I do not want to be equal with no corporation. I want to bring it down. I don't want to be president of the United States. Bring it down, okay? So that, understand that I am committed, people say it's being an abolitionist, committed not to change capitalism. This is for corporate. Because we change our underwear every day. It's still underwear. Go ass butt naked. We need to transform capitalism and to bring it down and to create the world that Vinny spoke into. It's on us to create that world. And to find ways not to be silenced and not to walk in eggshells and not to walk in fear. And I've said this before, I've been wearing this keffiyeh since the 70s. Since the 70s, people know me. Been wearing this, it's the same keffiyeh. You could touch it, it's very old. And when I put it on when the genocide began, it didn't begin then, but the bombing began, I was in fear. I was in fear that I walked down the street that a rabid Zionist would attack me. Okay? And I took it on. And I took it on. And I will take any of them on. I'm, part of my life, I've had a wonderful life. I was supposed to be, what is it called, barefoot and pregnant, and an addicted and an alcoholic. And I, with my mother's hard love, I turned it around. And a lot of people, socialists and Marxists, who saw this kid who has all this potential in the 60s, and some of them social workers. Others, like Yuri Kuchiyama, okay? I'm proud to say that she was a mentor and that I was that far away from Malcolm X. So, I met Yuri at 14, very important. So I was nurtured and loved by revolutionaries. And the only reason I'm here is because somebody said, read the Communist Manifesto. And I couldn't read. And I was 17. And the only thing was somebody else said, let's do a little study group, and introduced me to Pablo Freire methodology. Okay? In the streets of New York City, not in a high school, not in a college. You know, I was the gun-toting, drug-selling. I mean, I was bad. Still bad, but in a different way. In the streets. Yeah. I'm almost, okay. And when I was asked to do this talk, I said, I don't talk at universities. Yeah. I don't go into plantations. He begged. Okay? And that's why I am here. And I am here for those that dare to transform themselves, to transform the self, to bring down the system, to bring down CBOs, right? To go back into the communities and organize like Matulu did with the acupuncture in the early 70s. And I was one of his volunteers. I was also his massage therapist. But, yes, shiatsu massage. So that we were healing each other. We were very young, in our 20s, not through the universities, but being in the streets. And today's talk, I dedicate to the women and children of Palestine, and to Jack and her children, because they dare. Because they dare. You know, so that's the challenge that I put on all of you. Will you go beyond survival? I go beyond survival. Thank you.
We got to go beyond survival, and we have to transform ourselves to transform the world. Yeah? So when I was a young social worker, at this school, I stalked Mama Espy all around New York. I did. And I took many of her classes.
My underground.
You're underground. I was on the underground. Okay. In the community, not in the university, around Paulo Freire and Theater of the Oppressed. And I never forgot those teachings, and we're gonna bring those teachings forward here today, okay? Because this is a space, when we designed this Beyond the Bars, it was meant to be a space of practice. Right? Not just a space of listening, but a space of practice. We practice with our bodies. We practice with our minds. We practice from the neck down, yeah? So I want to invite us into practice, all right? So 1 second. All right. I have this slide. I love this slide. This graphic, want to give honor to Monica Dennis, as well as Rachel Ibrahim and Heidi Lopez, 3 gorgeous Black feminists, trainers. And they give us this framework that tells us that oppression disconnects us from our sources of life, power, strength, and identity, disassociates us from our body, distances us from our emotions, distorts our stories. Liberation, on the other hand, reconnects us with our sources of power, communally and individually, supports us in reclaiming our bodies, re-engaging our emotions, and restoring our stories. So we're gonna get into some liberatory practice right now, okay? I'm gonna ask folks, because one thing we know about white supremacy, patriarchy, capitalist greed, the carceral state, it separates our bodies and spirits. It wants our heads and bodies to be preoccupied with material needs, that slavery that Vinny was talking about. And healing and well-being start with tapping into our true selves, our true desires, and moving from that place rather than from the place of false narratives that oppression has taught us to believe about ourselves and each other. So what I want to ask you to do, we're going to do a brief visualization together, and then we're going to get into a pair share, okay? So if you have something in your hands, I want you to drop it if it feels safe to you. This is a brief visualization, brief because we don't have all the time in the world, but we have enough time. I want you to just, ooh, shimmy, shake, and feel your body. You're here. We do a lot from the neck up. We do so much. That's where the Eurocentrism is. They want us up in here. But there's so much wisdom from the neck down. We're going to tap that. So get in a comfortable seated posture. If you feel safe, you're invited to close your eyes. The purpose of this is to help to quiet your conscious mind. If you don't feel safe, ask that you bring your eyes down towards your nose. Bring your gaze downward. Want to ask folks to feel your feet on the ground below you. Feel your bottom in the chair. Just get here. We're going to take a couple deep breaths to allow yourself to arrive in this moment. And I'm going to ask you to do that at your own time, in your own way. Breathing in through your nose. Feeling that air fill up your belly as your belly button moves outward, and then breathing out through your mouth. Feeling that belly button move back towards your spine. Just do that a couple times. Allow yourself to drop right here into this place, into this moment. We're here together. This includes you, Overflow Room, live stream. Join us, please. We need you with us. I want you're invited to start to envision yourself in a place where you feel safe, loved, and honored. Begin to envision yourself in a place where you feel safe, loved, and honored. What does it feel like there? What does it sound like? What are the smells in this place? Who is with you here? Who is with you? Where are you? What are your surroundings like? Are you inside? Are you outside? Are there elements near you? Air, fire, water, earth? What's the temperature? What time are you? When are you? Are you in a past moment in your life? Are you in a present moment in your life? Are you in a future moment that you're envisioning for your life? And what sensations do you feel in your body? What is your body doing? Are you moving? Are you still? Are you resting? Are you dancing? Feel this moment fully. Connect with this version of you, this you in this gorgeous place. Know, for one thing, you can always return here. And then ask this version of you, what is a message from this self to the self you are now? What message do you have from this self to the self you are now? What is a message from this self to your community and your people? Gently, 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 slowly and carefully begin to come back into the room. Wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes, roll your shoulders, take your time. You've got all the time. Gently, gently. Slowly, slow, slow. Come on back. And if you have a note card, I want to ask you to write your insights down quickly. Sometimes we lose them. Write your message down. Could be on your note card, could be in your phone. If you could put it in your phone too. Volunteers, if we could get some tissues. Some tissues, Melissa. If it's possible, there's boxes of tissue in the healing room on 2. I see some folks who might need some tissue. Okay. Write it down. Gorgeous. Take your time. No rush. Take your time. Beautiful. Up on the slide, that's one of my babas. That's Baba Kwame, another revolutionary. That's one of my babas. And you're going to get, just like him and this young sister here, we're going to get into a pair share. All right? So turn to someone next to you. And I know it's vulnerable, okay? It's vulnerable. But we're going to remember our community agreements, family, okay? And we're going to get into a pair share. There's a ton of questions up here. Answer whichever one speak to your spirit, okay? Nothing's mandatory, or answer none of them. We just want to build and connect, all right? If you're sitting next to someone that you don't know, maybe on the other side of you is someone you know, and on the other side is somebody you don't know, maybe take a risk. Choose to share with the person you don't know. It's up to you, all in choice. But hey, you can really get something special, right? You take a risk. So I'm gonna give everybody, what did I have here in my notes? And on the live stream, please feel free to share in the chat. In the overflow room, same deal. Please get with one another. And we're gonna give 8 minutes for this. Get into it, chat with each other. Enjoy. clap twice. There we go. If you can hear me, clap 3 times. Okay, we got it. Yes. Was that yummy? It was very beautiful to witness. Me, oh my. We have people at the panelist table? Only at Beyond the Bars. So good. I'm obsessed. Okay. So, okay, wait. I hope folks, I don't know if my mic is on. It is on, okay. I hope that folks in the live stream have been active and folks in the overflow room are having lovely chats. I hope you all are tuning back into us so that we can kind of reunite across all the places where we are. All right, so a little bit of time, not a ton, for a brief community conversation. I'd love to get maybe 3 thoughts, feelings, feedback from the audience, and then maybe 2 questions, which I'm gonna gather both of them and then share those with the panelists and we'll just see how it goes. Can we flow like that? And we're just gonna try to be, wait, why am I talking? Okay, all right. So these are some guiding questions for the community conversation. Take them or leave them. So what did we just observe about ourselves? What healing and wellness practices came up in the discussions? What came up about how our observations and feelings impact our community and our liberation work? And we'll start with those 3. Any thoughts from folks? What came up for you? Who wants to share? And can we get like a mic rover? Because we want everyone to, I can rove the mic. Okay. And share your name and pronoun.
Yes, how you doing? My name is Reginald Jackson, and I am he. One thing that I learned, and I just want to thank you guys for letting me come here today. One thing that I learned in a lot of the conversations that I have been, matching with people is we all face the same adversity in some form or shape, as we walk through these journeys and these roads. And I'm really appreciative about that.
So me and my new homie Kevin were talking. And I really didn't want to talk. I don't like small talk. But thinking about what Vinny said was like, he said we deserve to feel good. Or we deserve to be happy, which made me think we deserve to feel good. And we don't have to do anything to prove our goodness, right? God said we're good, right? I made you and you're good. And so thinking about like the simple things that make you feel good, sunshine, right? Being with loved ones. And also like telling yourself like, I deserve to have a break. I deserve to go somewhere that makes me feel good. So even like my man was like, so he knows I'm unemployed, but he's like, yo, start saving. We're gonna go to Paris in September. And so that invitation, the invitation to say, I invite you to imagine being somewhere different soon. Right? Not next year, but this year. And so and also like that, like spirit and God knows what you need and it's no shame in vocalizing them. So I've been in school for much of the last decade and my homegirl last year was like, do you want to come to Puerto Rico with me? Like for spring break? All I had to do was buy the flight and I could do that. And so that was such a blessing because I'm on the beach, my favorite place, sunshine, with someone who accept me for me. And so just realizing like we do deserve to feel good in this lifetime. And we don't have to prove why that is, right? We don't have to make a case for feeling good, that we are good and we deserve to feel good like today.
Someone on this side. Oh gosh, this is hard. I saw your hand first.
Peace and blessings to you all. My name is Kevin. Pronouns we, ours, us. We had a really great conversation, the 3 of us, about feeling our most confident and comfortable selves when we can be authentic and unapologetic in who we are. We talked about the reality of how in this world there's so much that allows us to sometimes feel fear and to feel afraid. And when we are in spaces and around people that do not make us feel afraid and allow us to be our authentic selves is when we feel healed and when we feel at our best.
Beautiful. I see so many gorgeous hands, and we have to move forward. I'd love to get 2 questions for the panel. Yes, one. Is there a second one? Going once, going twice? Two. Okay.
Yeah, for sure. My name is Kevin Hernandez. I'm a youth I came with my mentors and peers. Shout out to them. Shout out to Pancho, Izzy, and everyone else. So I'm a youth advocate, and thank you. And then I'm currently 18 years old, enrolled in community college, and I work with a network that we help youth that are system impacted or foster care impacted or just came through juvenile systems or came out of juvenile systems. We go ahead and give them paid fellowships. So while they're advocating for the community, we go ahead and pay them while doing that. So they slowly start building up a passion, and it has worked since it's worked on me greatly. And so I would like to ask to any of you, so in some scenarios, sometimes our community is our biggest harm. And in that way, I mean is that sometimes it's kind of like a generational oppression to the point where some may think that they have to be a certain way to get approval within their community. So I would like to ask, how can we educate our community in different ways or like in a specific way to educate them on, it doesn't have to be like this, or how can we be better for ourselves and this community in the future?
Beautiful. Great question. Let me get the second one, panelists. Get the second one, and then we'll give the panelists an opportunity.
Hello. Thank you all for making the time to be here. My question is, I know a lot of people in the room might be at like Super Values Aligned organizations. Some people might not. But at our place of work, it may not have the same like values of care as we have for ourselves. So how do we care for ourselves while we're at our place of work?
Okay, panelists, we just have two questions. I'm so sorry. I'm gonna ask you panelists to be brief because we got the flash, all right? Who wants to go first? Yeah?
To answer your question, to educate your community, you gotta clean part of yourself. I work with Harlem Palestine Peace Walk, and and we host dinners about educational dinners. We bring speakers. We're gonna have one on the 14th, so if you can make it, talk to me later. And so something that it's time. You have to you can't come from a savior perspective. You have to clean that up. You have to come from, we teach each other. The community has to be willing. And if they're not willing to learn, you have to let them go. If it's not a safe space for you, you have to leave. Because like it takes two, It takes two to make it go right. And so if, some communities aren't for you. Some communities, and that could be family, that could be friends, that could be state. You have to move sometimes, and so it's who's willing to learn, who's willing to learn with you, and teach. So yeah, and then to the second one, boundaries are very important. You have to tell your boundaries. You have to speak. No, I don't want this. I can't do this. I can't come. I'm sorry. Sundays I'm busy. So yeah, that's.
I feel like you answered the first question, but I guess I want to add to it by saying, how are we intentionally creating space together, right? Like the assumption that one person knows more than the other, right? Like so, I come out of youth organizing, and right, and maybe who I am. And I wouldn't have trusted myself if an elder didn't ask me to speak on what I thought was truth, or what I thought was important to learn. So I really think it is the gift of giving each other the question of, what do you want to teach me, and what do I want to learn from you? And I think you need to create that intentional space, though, and know that that's what you're trying to do. Or then the question becomes, is that the group for you? If that's not how they're trying to move. It sounds like you're already doing this, so I don't know if this is helpful. Maybe I just want to say you're on path, so keep going. And then the other question, I do a lot with and I know Mama S because this is your practice too, right? Is sitting down with frontline organizers, asking of them, how are you taking care of yourself and each other? And I think there's some tools out here, especially for us as survivors of state, interpersonal, family violence. Like, how do we think about ways beyond survival? How are we setting boundaries, right? And living in our realities of what feels right in the moment. And there's actual plans, if you will, or a checklist of things you can look at just to sort of say, oh, am I spiritually, physically, emotionally grounded to keep doing this work? So if you want to talk about some tools, I know some tools out here for frontline organizers so that we can stay balanced and stay.
That's right. Beautiful. Thank you all. Okay. Okay, we're gonna close, family. We're gonna do 3 things to close. I'm gonna say some gratitude. We have to end with gratitude. I'm gonna make some announcements, and then we're gonna sing a song, okay? And sis is not a singer, but we're gonna sing this song. Okay, we're gonna sing it because I was at a retreat recently, and I think it's it. It's what we really need. It's good medicine, all right? So gratitude, we wanna thank our ancestors and the spirits who accompanied us along this conversation. Cara, I know you have a practice for closing out in a good way when we welcome energies in. Would you like to share it?
I know that we all called ancestors in. I think it's important that we close the portal. So if we could just, as you just did, just thank the ancestors, asking them to return back to where they need to return to, so that we can graciously honor who we're able to carry, right?
That's right.
So I just want to close the portal. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Cara. Thank you. We close the portal. We thank the ancestors and spirit guides who accompanied us on this conversation and nourished us. And guided us, because we got into some things. We deserve boundless love. That's a word from spirit. Thank you, Beyond the Bars organizers. Thank you, Corey. Okay. Because Mama SB and Vinny would not be here if it weren't for Corey and all his organizing. Thank you, Corey, and thank you for sitting up here so we can see your beautiful face. Okay. Yes. Thank you, panelists. Heartfelt, thank you. It takes a lot of preparatory work to get up here, y'all. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. And thank you to each of you. Thank you to all of you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. It's an honor. Yes. Couple of announcements. My announcements are all about healing and care. We have a healing and care room. It's on the 2nd floor. You can come there and nap. We have nice chairs for napping. We bought them for you, okay? Pillows, they're clean and sanitized. We have herbal tea medicine, loose tea for you, aromatherapy pouches. We have a place where you can make art. We're activating Orisha spiritual technology for self-reflection. You can go down there, learn about the Orishas. We're talking about SANKOFA and West African spiritual medicine here, right? You can go down there, learn about a couple of Orisha and connect and self-reflect. You can pray. We have Qurans and Bibles and Torah and all kinds of things. Go down there. We have over 100 wellness sessions. Thank you to Movement for Black Lives. Individual wellness sessions for you. I'm just saying, go do it. Go get a hug. Go sit by the altar. Get with your ancestors. Go light a candle. Please, go take care of yourself, all right? Okay, song time. All right, so the song, if you feel comfortable standing, I'd love for y'all to stand, okay? We're gonna stand. I learned this song recently. The lyrics are up there. On the people in the overflow room and on the live stream, you can sing too. So we're gonna do like a side A, side B moment. What can we do? Are you okay? Where should I stand? I should stand here? Oh, okay, I'm gonna stay here. It seems like it's easier. All right. So this side on your right, my left. No, we're not done yet. You are call. You are call. On this side, you are call. I'm gonna teach it to you first. On this side, you are response. Okay, are we good so far? All right, family. All right, so the song goes like this. Forget your perfect offering. We'll do it. I'll be called to teach it, okay? Y'all all be response for now. Forget your perfect offering.
Forget your perfect offering.
Just ring the bell that still can ring.
Just ring the bell that still can ring.
There is a crack in everything.
There is a crack in everything.
Now it picks up a little bit. That's how the light gets in. 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 Forget your perfect offering.
Forget your perfect offering.
Just ring the bell that still can ring.
Just ring the bell that still can ring.
There is a crack in everything.
There is a crack in everything.
That's how the light gets in. 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 Y'all got it?
Yes.
So call, response. Let's do it together. Y'all don't need me. I'm gonna go with the response. Y'all ready to call?
Yeah.
All right, call. Here we go.
Forget your perfect offering. Forget your perfect offering. Just ring the bell that still can ring. Just ring the bell that still can ring. There is a crack in everything. There is a crack in everything. That's how the light gets in. That's how the light gets in. That's how the light gets in. That's how the light gets in.
Let's go, sisters.
Forget your perfect offering. Just ring the bell that still can ring. Just ring the bell that still can ring. There is a crack in everything. There is a crack in everything. That's how the light gets in. That's how the light gets in. That's how the light gets in. That's how the light gets in.
Forget your perfect offering.
Forget your perfect offering.
Just ring the bell that still can ring.
Just ring the bell that still can ring. There is a crack in everything. There is a crack in everything. That's how the light gets in. That's how the light gets in. That's how the light gets in. That's how the light gets in.
All right, family. Thank you so much. I think we're going into a break. All right. Thank y'all so much.
Friends, we have 10 minutes. 10 minutes. Do not go far from your seats. Y'all, if you have jackets and seats next to you, pick your jackets up so people can sit down.
Oh, that's better. Friends, we're starting in 10 minutes. If you have jackets in the seats, grab your jackets so people can take a seat.